Hi, this is Mrs. Zhu, and we're working on homework 6 from chapter 6, section 8 on percent of change. And I do want you to use all proportions on a separate sheet of paper because there's not really enough space to be working out the questions. So I do want to see all of your work to get credit for that homework. I'm going to start with number 1. We're finding the product of these two numbers, and one of them is a fraction. Anytime we multiply fractions, I need to make sure that they're improper first. Then I can multiply improper. So 2 1/2 should be 2 times 2, then add the 1, giving me 5, and I keep the denominator 2, and then I'm going to multiply it with 2. Now 2 is the same as 2 over 1, and that'll help me multiply. And when I multiply, I am allowed to cross cancel. So I can cancel the 2 and the 2, giving me 1 and 1. And with that, I have 5 times 1 and 1 times 1 in my denominator, giving me the answer 5 over 1, which is really just 5. Okay? Yes, cross cancel. Okay, number 3, I'm dividing fractions. When I divide fractions, I want to think about my bucket of chicken from KFC, and I want to, share my bucket of chicken, hopefully with others. So I'm going to do I heart KFC. So the I stands for improper. So first I need to make them improper. So I'm going to multiply 5 times 4, add the 7, giving me 45 plus 7, which is 52 over 9. Keep the denominator. I'm going to multiply 1 times 4, add the 1, which makes 5 over 4. Okay, so I'm going to divide these two now. They're improper. Then I'm going to do the K, which is to keep the first. So I keep the 52 over 9, and then I flip the second, which is the F in the KFC, and then I'm going to change the sign. So 4/5 is going to flip, okay, and then I'm going to change the dividing to a multiplication. So when I multiply these two fractions, I'm going to multiply straight across, and I'm going to leave that answer just as it is, which is going to give me 45 in my denominator, and then quite a big number. I'm going to work it out over here. Don't have a lot of space. So 208, and it's already simplified, and I know that because when I look to cross cancel here, which I can cross cancel after I do K, F, and C, then I can cancel after it's flipped and the sign has been changed to multiplication. And I noticed 52 and 5, there's nothing to cancel there. So I also know that it has been simplified. And if you wanted to write the mixed, you could do that too. 4 and 28 45ths. Number 5, if I'm to simplify this exponent here, I want to, let me just reorder this for you. 4 times x times x times x times 6 times, and then if I have x to the negative 1, that's really the same thing as 1 over x. The shortcut here that I could take is I could just multiply the 4 with the 6, giving me 24. And then when I go to simplify the x, and then times 1 over x, that's really the same thing as me doing that, which is going to get me, I'm going to work it out over here, which is x over x. And if I cross those two out, then I have x to the second. And that's the same thing as me adding 3 plus the negative 1. And I do have to be very careful about that adding of 3 plus negative 1, which is 24, final answer, x to the second power. Try that same thing with number 6. I know there's some negatives there too, but I just did give you a few different ways to look at that. I'm going to work on a separate sheet from here, but on number 7, my original was 140 and my new was $84. So the proportion that I should be using is percent over 100 because I am looking for a percent. Specifically, this percent is called a change percent. So then I have what is called the do, which is the do. Okay, so that's the little do. That's what we call it. And the do helps me to find the percent of change because the D stands for the difference, and the O stands for original. So really, I'm getting a fraction that is going to be the difference between 84 and 140. So I'm going to take 140 subtracted with 84. That's the difference. And the difference between that is I do need to write it out over here and see what I get. Okay, and I get 56, and that's going to be over the original. The original amount is what you begin with. So here I had $140, so 140. So this is my fraction now. I can take several steps. I can keep the proportion where I have x over 100, which is the percent I'm looking for, equals to 56 over 140, and then cross multiply. Okay, or I can take this fraction and turn it into a decimal, and then turn it into a percent. So as long as I get to a percent answer, I will be going the right direction. So if I wanted to go ahead and just use proportions, because I think the majority of us will, I will get this number here. Then I'm going to divide 5600 with 140. Now I'm going to take out one of the zeros because I can do that by dividing both of them by 10. So if I do to one side of the equal sign, I'd have to do it to the other. Just like whatever I do to the numerator, I do to the denominator. So this is what the fraction would look like. And I can cross out the zeros that way too. So now I have 560 divided by 14. That's going to be 4 times here, which is 56, with no remainders, and then add a 0, giving me my final answer of 40%. Okay, if I were to divide these two numbers, and if I were to simplify it, then what I would do would simplify both by 56. Actually, I know that's a large number, but I'd get I would divide both by 14, which gives me 4 over 10, and 4 over 10 is the same percent as 40%. So in this question, I would also like to state if this is increase or decrease, and because the original was 140 and the new price is 84, that's clearly a decrease in price, which is a decrease also in the percentage. So there was a 40% decrease. So it's almost like saying there was a 40% discount. Discounts are represented as a decrease. I know that feels complicated. I'm going to go ahead and work on number 9, and this time I'm going to just stick with using proportions for the sake of some consistency and to save us some time. My proportion is percent over 100 equals D over O. So my percent is what I'm looking for, so x over 100 equals the difference. The difference is 5 minus 4, and my original is the 4. So then I have x over 100 is the same as 1/4. And actually, here I would be able to even just look at this fraction and think, well, what is that percent? Well, that percent is the same as 1/4, and a quarter is the same as 25%, just like the amount of a quarter in money. So that would be my answer. And if you wanted to cross cancel here, you would still get that same answer. 25%. I almost forgot, it is a increase because it went from 4 to 5. Starting on number 11, what is the percent of change if you sold? I'm going to go back to that question. Here I want to look at some keywords here. They sold 66 tickets on Monday, and then the next day they had 9 tickets. So what I should notice is that in number 11, the original was what happened on Monday, which was selling 6 tickets. The new, which would be on Tuesday, the day after, would be selling 9 tickets. So that's how I would know which one's the original and which one's the new. And then from here, I would do percent over 100 equals do, and then D is the difference, and O is the original. So I'm going to have x over 100 equals, and the difference is, remember, difference just means to subtract. So if it helps you, you can do so, then it'd be SO instead of DO. But I do like to kind of put that vocab word in for you too. So 9 minus 6 is going to give me 3, and my original here is 6. So actually, let me rewrite it down here. I have x over 100 equals 3 over 6. And actually, if you just look at this fraction, it's the same as half. And if I turn that into a percent, half is the same percent as 50%. Okay. Or if you want to still cross multiply, you would get that and get 50 which is still the same answer. And I do want to indicate if that was an increase or a decrease. And clearly they sold more tickets the next day, so we had a 50% increase in sales. So that was a good thing. The profit is, they're making profit here by selling more tickets. Number 13, if a TV was $506 for $60, so here we have a TV, there's a keyword there, was, and then it went on sale, so there I see a percent, some prices decreasing here, so I know that's going to be a decrease. It's going on sale, so that's going to be a keyword here, sale. So I know that if I go back here, I'm so sorry for moving around so much, but the old price, original price was $560, and then the new price would be $420. So here I would do the same thing. Percent over 100 equals D over O. Or if you'd like to think about it as S over O for subtracting, that might help you a little bit more. You're going to get X over 100 equals 560 minus 420, and the original was the 560, more expensive. So X over 100 would equal to, if I subtract that, I get 140. I'm going to simplify this fraction here, get rid of the zeros, divide both by 2, giving me 7 over 28, which is the same as 1/4. And wow, even that, I know that 1/4 is again the same as the percentage that represents 25%. Here is a decrease of 25%, which really means that it went on sale at a percent of 25%. So the store would usually represent it as, you know, the store, everything's on sale for 25%. Good luck with the rest of the question. Do the best that you can, and we'll work through them tomorrow in class.